exactly what I'm going to do. You can gavel me. That's your choice.
You know what? If you want to have one, just
Thank you.
So this is a new card?
yes.
It's
Uh-oh.
saying, so we have to format this card, okay.
Do we know where the other card is? It's in JJ's desk, right? Okay, and I'm not seeing us on the screen yet. There we are. Good morning. It is December 17th at 11 a.m. This is a special meeting of the Curry County Commissioners. Would you please rise with me and join me in our Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chair, did you say this is an emergency meeting of the Board of Commissioners?
yes.
Okay, good.
I misspoke. This is an emergency meeting of the Board of Commissioners.
And the reasons for, I think it's on less than 24-hour notice. What are the reasons for not having 24-hour notice?
Go ahead, sir.
Is that to give the treasurer-elect as much notice as possible of the pending action?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good.
With that, we are going to enter into executive session. Before we do that, Commissioner Boyce would like to make a public statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want the citizens to know we do not have an emergency here. This was put on my desk at 10:40 this morning, 9:40 this morning, so I had a very important meeting with the governor's office, and I was told, no, you don't, because I asked if the meeting could at least be delayed until noon. I was denied on that by apparently both of our director of operations and the chair, who has urgently called this meeting. Again, I just want to assure the public that there's no emergency here. You heard Council Huddle say treasurer-elect, and I don't know what the order is. I don't know what the rush is, but this is part of what has been going on in this building for a long, long time. And so I'm here to push back and let the citizens know that it's all going to come out in the long run, how the business is being conducted here. That's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we will adjourn, or we will recess this meeting, enter executive session. Upon completion of executive session, we will come back into our regular session.
And the executive session is for 1926602A to consider employment of a public official.
Yes. Ms. Colon, we're going to ask it. It's only going to be the treasurer here this morning?
No, it's not. You're not going to do that. She's an elected official, and excuse me, Mr. Chair, you're not serious, please.
Yes, I am.
Well, she's going to stay, or this meeting is going to get closed. So you got your choice. You have no right to ask her to leave this meeting.
I do.
No, you don't. She is an elected.
Is considered a county. These county governments ensure that the food you eat in restaurants is safe. They care for the mentally ill, run court systems, build local economies, and operate 911 emergency systems. They manage parks and recreation facilities, and the list goes on. Thing is, counties serve the American people in so many ways, keeping our communities healthy, vibrant, safe, and fiscally sound. That's why counties matter.
Well, we're here with Commissioner Colleen Roberts. for the monthly meeting of the ONC board, which Colleen sits on. Colleen, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about your mission and what you guys discuss at these monthly meetings?
Sure. Well, our ONC board is of the 18 counties in Oregon that have the ONC lands on their BLM federal lands. And we discuss everything about these lands. The ONC Act of 1937 is our primary focus, how the decisions that these lands get managed, do they match up with the congressional mandate of the ONC Act, and how we can better educate and help administer the care of these lands for the health and safety and welfare of the citizens that we represent.
I would imagine you discuss things like how many board feet can be taken out of the forest in different areas. Are these things that come up each month?
Yes, well, harvest timber management is a big part of our conversation, as is lately the fire issues.
We're here today with Commissioner Dan DeYoung of Josephine County. Dan, you have an important role on the ONC Lands Board, and we're here in beautiful Gold Beach, Oregon, discussing the monthly matters of ONC. What was your main focus at this meeting?
Today we had a really good sit down with two representatives from the BLM. And we work with BLM because actually the ONC lands are on BLM lands, and that's our concern. Mainly the ONC Board of Directors, which is a membership from all 18 counties. We always meet, I think it's bi-monthly, and then we have an annual meeting. And it's basically to discuss what the sign says, forest health, jobs, and county services. That the money coming from the sale of timber on ONC lands goes through the federal government. They take their share out of it and then return it back to the counties to be used for basically jobs, county services. A lot of county services, such as law enforcement, schools. There's just an awful lot of things that these individual counties can use the money for. But it's from the sale of timber on the ONC lands. ONC lands goes way back to 1937 with the ONC 1937 ONC Congressional Act and the ONC Act of 1937. We're just trying to get back to the actual verbiage and the language that's in that act. It's surprising to us how we can ignore a congressional act. That remains to be answered by the federal government. But that's what we want to get back to.
Hi there. I'm Tillamook County Commissioner Dave Yamamoto. I'm a member of the ONC board and also the chair of the Council of Forest Trust Land Counties. And in Tillamook County, it's very important that we consider natural resource-based economies. So in Tillamook County, we have lots of dairy. I'm sure you're familiar with Tillamook Creamery, but also lots of state and federal timberlands. When it comes to federal timberlands in particular, everyone thinks that we're looking at timber revenue, and that's very important. But one side of the coin that people don't consider are the family wage jobs that come with all timber. It's not just the timber receipts that we get. These are family wage jobs. These are fully benefited jobs. Whereas on the tourism side, the income is about a third of what we would consider a family wage job, and there are also no benefits with those. So timber receipts are very important, but it's the family wage jobs that they create at the same time, which are very important to counties like Tillamook.
Perfect. Keeping it real for families in Tillamook County.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Yamamoto.
Thank you very much.
All right. We are here with County Commissioner Bob Main from Coos County, Oregon. And we've had the monthly meeting of ONC lands here. And Mr. Main, Commissioner Main, I should say, tell us what your role is, Bob, on the ONC Lands Board.
I am the Vice President of the ONC Association of Oregon Sea Counties.
Okay.
Consists of 18 ONC counties, Western Oregon counties.
Okay.
And we make sure that the counties receive their payments from those ONC lands that Congress designated for the sole purpose of those 18 ONC counties. For no other reason, Congress decided that when they took back the lands and took them off the tax roll, that the county should benefit from the harvest of those lands. Without that, the tax rates, like in my county, would be 2 to 3 times higher.
Oh, okay. So you help keep the tax rates down in your county by utilizing the full function of this congressional act.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are here with Oregon Curry County Commissioner Court Boyce. Thank you so much for taking a moment to speak with us.
Well, thank you. With the natural resource base that this state has, I've spent spending better than half of my time as a county commissioner on those issues: fire management, public lands management, certainly natural resources, all of those. And so I'm often reminded that 250 years ago, the generations that came before us, when they got here to Oregon, include Northern California, they found the greatest forest in all of North America, that produce the greatest watersheds, that produce the most pristine rivers, that give us the most, the highest quality of salmon and steelhead runs, arguably on the planet.
Yeah, I just picked her up. We should be there in 20 minutes.
Who is it? Oh, it's him. Where is he?
I know. Yeah, I know.
I love walking. It's what I do. So who better to share some tips to help keep your walk safe? Wait for the signal. Take in the sights and smells till you get the go-ahead to cross. Use intersections to cross, but when you can't, remember your training. Always look left, right.
Would you knock on the door and tell Miranda we're ready? Okay, there we go. All right, good morning. We are back in session. It is 11:12 a.m. on December 16th, 2020. I make a motion that we approve what we've come out of executive session and ask staff to proceed with. I make a motion that we approve the order in front of the board.
I second that.
Further discussion?
Further discussion. Could we discuss first, if we may, Council Huddle and Mr. Chair, under what authority this board has the right or even the responsibility to order another elected official to appear, even 2 weeks before he takes office? Can we discuss that first, please? You had some.
In general, the Board of County Commissioners has authority over all matters of county concern. That's in general. So that would be the general basis. It's a matter of, it's that basic. It's a matter of county concern of the, what happens with the office. And so the board wants to hear, and so they're ordering him. I've said I don't know what will happen if he does not respond to the board's order on the 23rd, and I'd have to look at that and figure that out by the 23rd. I haven't had a lot of time today, I'm sorry. So that's all I had.
Okay, so we understand the responsibility of the Board of Commissioners. We were notified yesterday, just yesterday, by letter that he has some family medical issues that caught him off guard. And instead of saying, hey, we'll give you the week, 2 weeks, whatever you need, and you go take care of your family and be encouraged to do so, after you win an election decisively, which really is irrelevant, he won the election, and we're going to order him to appear before us for what reason? And who can order us individually? Who can order the sheriff individually? Who can order anyone? I submit to this board, there is absolutely no emergency here. There is a concern, and we're dealing with that, and so is he. And so are other elected officials.
So let me ask you this, Commissioner. Did you have prior knowledge of any family issues? Because you received the letter, not the county. The county did not receive a letter.
I'm not going to continually. You had this same. You asked me to. You did it yesterday, sir. You continually badgered me. I am a friend of his, and he did confide in me.
Don't start, please.
Don't start.
I'm going to ask you this. I'm allowed to ask you questions as you ask me questions. I would appreciate your respect and allowing me to finish my
Watch
question
your tone, please.
before you
Watch your
interrupt me. So you can't even let me talk. You've got to be in such control of everything. You can't even let me finish
This
my
whole
question.
meeting is your control, sir. You got two director of operations here that I asked this meeting just to be
Okay.
postponed till 12
So
o'clock.
can I
Your
ask my
tone
question now? Are you done?
is very angry, just like yesterday.
My tone is angry?
It sure was. Maybe it's toned down a little
Okay,
bit
let
now.
me do it this way, Commissioner.
Oh, come on.
Does that make you happy?
Don't make things worse. You're tearing this county apart. We did not have to have this meeting today. You could have communicated with Mr. Hanscom.
I will ask you questions directly.
And I don't have to answer you. I don't have to be badgered or bullied by you
do
anymore.
not have to answer me
You've
now.
done it for 2 years.
Can I talk now?
You don't need my
Let me
permission.
know when you're done so I can talk, because I don't want to interrupt you, and I'm tired of you interrupting me.
Oh, we have somewhat of a volley, and I apologize to the public for the inability to
yourself.
control that. Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm embarrassed by some of the exchanges that you and I have had. It's tragic, but I'm going to fight for the citizens
Okay,
of
let's
this
move
county,
on.
and I do.
Let's move on.
Oh,
I'm going to
okay.
ask you a question.
Yeah.
Did
You're
you,
gonna badger
because
me.
I noticed the letter yesterday that came in was addressed to Commissioner Court Boyce or Court Boyce on the envelope, and I'm wondering, I'm asking, did you have prior knowledge to yesterday of this man's intent not to come to the meeting and be able to address the board?
The citizens trust Mr. Hanscom. Here's your answer. They trust him, and he trusts me, and he delivered that email to me, and I'm very concerned for him and his family, and that's all I'm going to say to you.
Okay, so all I'm saying is because we were not notified and only you were notified when it's a board issue and a county issue, that's why we're asking for this order. He doesn't have to take time away from his family. He can come on a Zoom meeting. He can invite his counsel. From what I understand, he's retained counsel on this. He can invite his counsel to be on that Zoom meeting with him so he's comfortable that he is properly represented. But he has to answer questions to this board on his intent, if he is going to be a county treasurer, if he's not going to be, if he's going to take the oath and then resign that oath. However he's going to intend to do this, he has to inform the citizens of this county, and it is an emergency that he do it immediately, because you've got a treasurer that is getting ready to fulfill her term as treasurer, and we will have no one in that office to protect the resources and county bank accounts and funds of this county and protect that.
I think the county's fine with the treasurer. The way we left the meeting yesterday, I thought we were going to appoint we have a treasurer till January 4th, and she's here every day, and she's doing her job. So I don't see what the emergency is. She has said that she is willing to consider staying a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, and as far as Treasurer-elect Hanscom delivering the mail to me, yes, he trusted me. I immediately gave that to Counsel Huddle. Perhaps we could contact him. I could contact him because he trusts me. He trusts Treasurer Crumley, and maybe we would want to make that letter public. He's asked for just a reasonable amount of time. What in the world's wrong with that?
A reasonable amount of time
Yes.
is what? He has a position to fill in less than 3 weeks.
You know what?
He's not trained for the position. He is not offered to train for the position, and from what I understand, he has no intent to fill the position.
Oh, you're going on rumor now.
And now we've
sir.
got you having private meetings with him. From what I understand, we've got other people.
I'm an elected official. That's my responsibility.
We've got other
Quit
people.
trying to make it out
Can
to
I
be
talk?
something that's
Again, you're interrupting me.
unethical.
Again,
You're
interrupting
attacking me just like you did yesterday, and I'm not going to stand for it.
Point of order.
So we've got a commissioner having a private meeting with this person. We've got other people in this county, perhaps elected people, I'm not certain, but there are other people in this county that are having private meetings with this person and discussing how and when he should do this. And I would just like to get it from the horse's mouth so I don't have to listen to rumors. I think the citizens of this county are entitled to that. They're entitled to know if they are going to have a treasurer to be sworn and not resign his position, as he stated yesterday, not resign his position immediately after being sworn.
Sir.
Do you know that when you take an
Point
oath?
of order. I'm not sure he made that statement. You
Read
said
the
he
letter.
stated it yesterday. I'm really not sure that's what was said, but we can.
I will say this: when you take an oath, you know the terms of the oath. You know the words that are in the oath. Once you swear that oath, you are bound by that oath. You cannot be, just so you know, under the state law, if you want to read the state ORSs, the state of Oregon, in conversation with me this morning, informed me that he can't even be a stipend under a 1 or 2 day a week treasurer and appoint a deputy. The position has to be carried out in the order of which the citizens of this county elected him for, which is the norm of the county in the past, which is a full-time treasurer, unless the people of this county vote differently. The board can step in and remove him if he is not willing to do that.
So, this is what you do, Mr. Chair. You attack somebody's character, and you just attacked his character.
I'm
you
not
know
attacking anyone.
You gonna interrupt me now?
No, you know what, you're right. I apologize. I'm sorry.
You're attacking his character because he has a family medical emergency that distracted him from the training he wanted to get and still may well do. And you've called this meeting to call him out publicly when the people have elected him. You cannot deny that. You cannot overcome that. That is the fact. And it looks like, as I believe what is going on here, is you said you wanted to consider resigning as commissioner and taking the treasurer's position. Is that what this is about?
Do you really? No, I'll answer the question.
Okay.
Do you can I talk now?
Mm-hmm.
You just asked me a direct question. I want to say this to you, sir. I'm not all about being a board chair. I'm not all about being a commissioner. I'm not all about being a treasurer. I am what I am willing to do is whatever it takes to make this county run and fix the problems. I don't need to be my name in headlines. I don't need to be patting people on the back and getting all the accolades. I'll sit in my office and do my job. I don't care about being a board chair. I don't care about being commissioner. That's not why I ran. I saw problems in this county, and I asked the people to put me in here to try and help fix them. If that means resigning from a board of commissioners to be a treasurer, to do that job, may I finish? To do that job so that the finances of this county, in my opinion, are the most important job in this county.
And do you believe in the will of the people, and was he elected?
Yes, he was elected.
And you're going to go against the will of the people. And you're going to see how quickly you can get it done and push
no,
forward. That's abuse
not,
of power, sir.
Commissioner
It
Boyce,
is.
I just want to let you know, I'm not going against the will of the people, and I'm not going against his will. I don't know what his will is, and all I'm trying to do is get him to answer us, what is your will, sir, so that we can move forward.
And you've declared an emergency here, and
Yes.
that is tragic. And the letter speaks for itself. And you've used this board to cut him down, and I resent the heck out of that. And I think it's really bad for this county. And I say again, sir, this is tearing this county apart. You did not have to take this action. It is an abuse of power.
Could I ask the treasurer to step to the microphone just for a moment, please? Identify yourself.
Debbie Crumley, treasurer.
Ms. Crumley, I hate to bring you into this, and I understand that you're not really wanting to be here to deal with this because it's sad. I just want to ask you a couple of questions, and then if Commissioner Boyce wants to ask you a couple of questions, if you feel like you would like to answer them, I won't force you to answer them, of course. But I'd like to ask, do you feel as though our treasurer-elect would be ready to take his position at this time?
No.
Do you feel as though our treasurer-elect, if he were to stay a couple extra weeks after the election, would be ready to take his position?
I don't think so.
Okay. Do you think you would like to know, as a treasurer, do you think it's imperative? Do you think it's imperative for the citizens of this county to know that their money and your job that as a treasurer, that position is filled in with a qualified individual?
Absolutely.
I won't ask you if you think Mr. Hanscom is qualified or not. What I will ask you is this: would you like to have him in a meeting to ask him his intentions so that you can make your plans?
I would like that. I've talked to Terry, and we've had some good conversations, and he has informed me his plans, which seem to be different than what I'm hearing.
Would you inform us of what, if you feel comfortable to do that, what you feel his plans were?
On his last day of working, he was feeling very overwhelmed. We were doing the tax distribution, and at that day he told me he just couldn't do the job. I asked him, do you think you could do this with a little more training? He says, I don't think so.
Did you have a conversation with him yesterday?
Yes, he called me.
What was his conversation with you yesterday, if you feel comfortable to answer?
He told me that he would not be at the meeting, that he did send a letter. Well, first he said he would not be at the meeting. He was advised by his attorney to not appear, and that he would be sworn in on the 4th and then resign probably after that.
Do you have any questions, Mr. Boyce?
He told you he was going to resign?
Yes, he did.
Likely or
No,
somewhat
he said
dogmatic?
He said he would, because his last day there, he was ready to do whatever needed to be done.
Okay, and you know that he's distracted, and you've commented on that with his wife of 50
I knew
plus
she
years.
was going to an appointment. I did not hear the outcome, and he wasn't distracted while we were working.
We're anxious to hear the outcome, but we really don't have any right to that.
So with that,
Yeah. Hey,
I didn't know you were done. I thought you were done. You made a comment. You didn't ask a question.
okay. Hang in, sir. Hang in. We know that in this county, we know it is marginal, our authority, okay, to push him, to order him. My gosh, I just can't tell you how much I resent that, and yet I'm not a bit surprised. We got 6 high-paid people here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 high-paid people here to have an hour meeting, or maybe 2. And we don't have an emergency. We have a quest to uncover something from a duly elected public official that is absolutely invalid to the well-being of this county. He will deal with thank you, Mrs. Crumley. He will deal with, like any public official, if he in fact resigns. This county has a history of appointing 4 previous treasurers in the past, including Mrs. Crumley, who was not qualified at the time, but thank God she was a quick study and got going. You were appointed?
I was appointed, but I wasn't qualified.
What you?
The prior treasurer's deputy, so I knew pretty much all the work. Just a little bit I had to figure out.
Well, I didn't mean to say you weren't qualified, but you learned over that time a great deal. Pardon me?
Go ahead.
No, I need to know what you said so I can respond.
Finish your comments here so we can close the meeting. Like you just said, we've got 7 highly paid people here that need to move on with their lives.
Yeah, you need to take that into consideration, sir.
Your comments are duly noted.
Boy, you're, like you said yesterday, never mind. We've appointed at least 3 sheriffs. All has gone smoothly. 4 treasurers, all have gone smoothly. We cannot take any authority. I want the citizens to know we cannot take any authority here until we, in fact, actually have a resigned treasurer. And I know there are people in this county that hope and believe he still can possibly do the job, will do the job, wants to do the job, and his family will be okay through the process. So the order today, if somebody could help me understand and the public to understand, is exactly what? We are ordering him to do what?
To appear at an executive session before the Board of Commissioners to talk about this on the 23rd at 11 o'clock here.
I don't have a mic, so can you just explain that it doesn't have to be in person? It could be by phone.
I read that from the
Yes,
order.
that was in the
Thank
whereases.
you. But it wasn't in this part of the meeting. So yes, that is correct.
Let me go ahead and read the order back in. I'll read
Thank
it for
you.
the record so Commissioner Boyce is clear on the order.
Oh, just me needs
Whereas
to be clear.
before the Board of County Commissioners in and for the County of Curry, an order commanding attendance of Treasurer-elect Terry Hanscom to discuss employment of a public official executive session, whereas the Board of Commissioners of Curry County, Oregon held an executive session at 11 a.m. on December 16th to discuss a matter regarding the office of the Curry County Treasurer, and whereas the Treasurer-elect was not present at that executive session, and whereas the information in such that only the Treasurer-elect can provide, therefore the presence of the Treasurer-elect is mandatory for the Board to determine appropriate measures to be taken. Now, therefore, the Board of Curry County Commissioners hereby order Treasurer-elect Terry Hanscom to appear for executive session under ORS 1926602A on December 23rd, 2020 at 11 a.m. in the Board of Commissioners meeting room, 94235 Moore Street, Gold Beach, Oregon 97444. And 2, the appearance may be either in person or, if requested, by remote means, telephone by calling 541-247-3207 or virtual meeting platform to be determined. Dated the 17th day of December 2020.
One other thing, Mr. Chair, you did make it clear that he was entitled and
To
to
have
his
counsel.
counsel. We understand he
To
has legal
represent him
counsel.
so that he
Yep.
is fairly represented, yes. Commissioner Boyce?
So, citizens, this is what you call a lame duck session. Treasurer-elect Hanscom was overwhelmingly elected. I'm going to challenge the vote in this lame duck session of Commissioner Gold, who was also soundly defeated after 4 years. And this bent to push forward. We couldn't even have the meeting delayed till 12 o'clock. You told me, Mr. Chair, I didn't have a meeting when I told you I had a very important meeting when I got an hour and 20 minutes notice. This could have been done tomorrow with proper public notice. It could have been done Monday with proper public notice. But you are in control, and you're controlling this man, and I think you're jeopardizing his future. You're controlling this director of operation. You're controlling that commissioner. And I want the public to know that I'm going to be pushing back. I don't think Commissioner Gold should have a vote on this item of so much importance because we want to give this man a couple weeks for his family. I'm appalled, but I'm not a bit surprised. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. I will say that I am not in control of anyone in this room other than myself, and actually, I'm not even in control of me. I have the Lord above to control me. I've even made it clear upon the hiring of Mr. Ruckert that he does not work.
We take a minute to answer that, please, Mr. Chair.
So will the
We're
board?
in the middle of a meeting, so let's.
Well, it's Representative Brock Smith. He may have something reasonable to add to this, please. It's not public comment.
Well,
It's
here's what I will say. We do have a duty to make our meetings available
Gee,
by
many
remote
Christmas.
attendance. This is a public meeting. If someone calls, I think it would be fair to answer to let them know. It's as if someone's trying to walk in the door, the analogy there. So
and we
you
talk
are in
about
the Curry
transparency.
County Board of Commissioners meeting.
Yes, this is Representative Brock Smith.
Okay. So I was in the middle of something, so let me continue to state upon Mr. Ruckert's employment here, and again this morning, Rickert, I'm sorry, I have reiterated to him, he does not work for me, he does not work for the Board of Commissioners. He is hired by the Board of Commissioners to do a job. We are not his boss, so I am not in control of him. And I have made that very clear to him, as I made it very clear to Ms. Schmelzer when she was hired. We are elected people. Our jobs are policy and to protect this county, not to tell Mr. Ruckert or order him to do my tasks or anyone else in the county's employ. You've made it clear that we don't have standing to do this. ORS 236010 subsection 1C and 1G. We do have standing to do this, and if the treasurer-elect does not want to follow the terms of oath of office as stated, the ORSs are very clear. I've had 2 lengthy conversations with Salem on this, and they have stated that those ORSs are in good standing and they are clear. We are to protect the citizens of this county, and if this treasurer-elect cannot do the job, I am hopeful that he will come before the board and do that and resign prior to his taking office. If he takes the oath and cannot do the job, then we have further steps we can take from there. That's all I have.
Thank you. Representative Brock Smith, welcome. Thanks for calling in. If I may just give a quick overview. First of all, in the executive session, 30-year county clerk.
This is out of order.
We shouldn't be talking about what happened in the exec session.
Firstly,
Renee Cullen was asked to leave the executive session. Okay, I'm also very disappointed about that. The bottom line here is, Representative Brock Smith.
You're not allowed to ask Mr. Representative Brock Smith to talk. This is a meeting. If Mr. Smith would like to be in this meeting, with all due respect, sir, you know I fully respect you and your position. This is an order just asking someone to come to a meeting. If you would like to be at that meeting and give your comments, I fully welcome them.
So you ask Clerk Cullen to leave, and you're going to deny Representative Brock Smith an opportunity to speak should he so choose. Is that your call, Mr. Chair? And you're protecting the interest of the people, the citizens? He just won by 68% of the vote.
It's the board's call. So
Clerk Cullen won by 74% of the vote. And I asked, just so you know, Representative Brock Smith, I asked if we could have this meeting postponed just to noon. I only had another hour and 20 minutes to prepare. And I asked Mr. Rickert if he could help me at that. And I believe he was bullied into saying, no, it's going to be at 11 o'clock. And you talk about you don't control this board. I'm challenging respectfully Commissioner Gold's ability or capacity to vote at some point before she leaves office. I think under a lame duck program, that is absolutely unacceptable. Again, I'm very disappointed to have the clerk asked to leave the meeting. And no, Council Huddle, thank you. I had no intentions of saying in a general session what was discussed in that meeting, but that's what we're discussing right now. There was no public notice. We could have had this meeting tomorrow, Friday, even, Monday, even Tuesday with proper notice. And we had to run and push something that didn't even give an hour and 20 minutes notice.
Commissioner Gold?
I just want to say that, yes, I do have a right to vote until I'm out of office.
Okay,
So
that is true.
Okay.
All right, Representative Smith, go ahead. If you want to say something on this, go ahead. I won't stop you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the number. Of course, it's delayed on my end, and I hope you can hear me. Can you let me know that you can?
We can hear you clearly.
Thank you, sir, and I have the utmost respect for you as well as your colleagues. And of course, Commissioner Gold has the authority to vote on anything and any matter that comes up prior to her leaving office in January under the law. I would just, as we talk about respect, and I have no desire. I have a number of commissioners in my district, as you know, Curry and Coos and Douglas and Giuseppe. And I would just like to offer some counsel that we also respect the duly treasurer-elect and his family during this very difficult time that he's going through, and what has been a shock to him and his family, as I have spoken to him recently after learning the news. And I will let you know, commissioners, that upon going through my emails this morning, and I stepped away from, we're in committee meetings this week in the Capitol via virtually, that I did see the order and did reach out to State Treasurer Reed this morning and had a conversation with him about this. And I can tell you that Treasurer Reed and myself understand the law to be, and I understand that you've cited an ORS earlier, Commissioner, and I have not followed up on, of course, what that ORS is. But Treasurer Reed and I understand the law and that you have a duly elected official that takes office on January 4th according to law. And just like we would, any elected official is accountable to the people and accountable to themselves. And through their resignation or through their recall, can move forward with those two options. Again, I have not read the ORS that you quoted, sir, but to that end, this is a difficult time for Treasurer-elect Hanscom and his family. And I know we all embrace the health of his family. And I know that we want to keep it, I know that he desires to keep it as private as possible in his elected position. And that we respect that as much as possible. So, again, thank you, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity to make some comments. I appreciate it. I appreciate you giving me the number, although I did have it still programmed into my phone. So I wish you all the best in working together for the residents of Curry County, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Thank you, sir.
Representative Brock Smith,
Let's stop.
are you still there?
Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you again. In your consultations with Treasurer Reed, I want to make sure I understand. Does this board have the authority to order the treasurer-elect to appear before us? Or
Again, I am not, Treasurer Reed and myself and his staff were on my call with him this morning. I have not read the ORS that Chair Pash is citing, but the conversation that I had with Treasurer Reed is there's no ability of the Board of Commissioners to demand a treasurer-elect to come to a meeting. Now, that doesn't mean that the treasurer-elect won't or have a conversation with the board, but Treasurer Reed, Treasurer Reed's staff, and myself are under the understanding that the Board of Commissioners as an elected body does not have the ability to direct another elected treasurer. Sorry for the tongue twisting. Treasurer-elect is another elected about to come into office to attend any meeting. But again, I have not read the ORS that Commissioner Pash is citing, and Treasurer Reed and his staff were not aware of any inquiries into his office as of our conversation this morning.
So let me ask you then, you're not legal counsel, right?
No.
The treasurer-elect, or the treasurer that you spoke with up there is not legal counsel?
No, he is the state elected treasurer of Oregon.
Okay, so my question is this, being, let's say having the conversation with the state this morning who deals with the election laws and how they're administered and all the ORSs that I quoted, which is 236010 subsection 1C and G, and also some other ORSs that she brought up in a conversation yesterday. It was very clear, and she made sure to tell me twice, it is very clear in the ORSs that the board can demand that he come before the Board of Commissioners of this county, especially if there has been talk, which he has spoken to our treasurer, and said he will not fulfill the duties he was elected to fulfill, that we do have the right to know that, and we can call him before he's sworn and ask that. We can't demand that he do anything. We are asking him. We can demand that he come before the county and answer the question. We can't demand him to be sworn, and if he does not wish to be sworn, then he can resign. If he takes the oath of office, you know yourself as an elected official what the words in that oath means. It is an intent to provide service. If you take the oath of office and then you resign that oath of office, you never had the intent to provide that service. And I think you'll find that that's probably against Oregon law. And you may have committed a crime.
Oh,
I'm not certain on that. I'm just asking him to come before the board and tell us his intentions so that we can plan. If he intends to be treasurer, God bless him, that's wonderful. If he doesn't, or he has a different outline, then that's something different. But don't you think the citizens of this county, he could take 5 minutes and let us know his intention so that the citizens of this county can put their head on the pillow at night and know that the guy that has the keys to the millions of dollars in the bank, it's secure? That's my question to Brock Smith, sir.
But
Please
if I may
allow him
add,
to answer.
If I may add something to that.
So you got to add something. Let him answer.
Would you turn your voice down just a little bit?
I'm asking you to let him answer. Quit interrupting.
I'm going to offer something here, if I may, Mr. Chair.
You can't. I'm asking you to sustain.
Commissioner Boyd, may I please
Yes.
answer Commissioner Pash's question? Commissioner Pash, Mr. Chair, as I stated earlier, I'm not familiar with the ORSs. And as I'm not trying to dispute your word or your intentions with regards to protecting the citizens of Curry County or your legitimacy for calling and drafting and supporting the order there before you, sir. It's not my intention whatsoever. Again, I can only offer you the conversation that I had with the state treasurer. Of course, he's not an attorney, and I appreciate the dialogue with regards to your conversation with state elections. I'm not, there's lots of laws in the state, and I'm not aware of all of it, as you can imagine. And I'm not trying to dispute your word or your intentions with regards to protecting the people. I do know that this is and I just chimed into the live stream when Debbie was finishing her comments to the effect of that Mr. Hanscom's wife had an appointment scheduled, is what I had heard. And so in any illness, I'm sure that Mr. Hanscom, and again, I haven't discussed this with him, but I'm sure that Mr. Hanscom is debating on what and how he will move forward, not only for the citizens of the county, but also for the health of his family. And I'm just saying that the citizens of the county, in my opinion, have elected Mr. Hanscom to do the best for them as an elected official, and that he is navigating how he can do that with the situation that he has been handed to him through this process of his wife's diagnosis. And
Okay.
we need to respect that.
Thank you. Did you have anything further for Mr. Smith, Mr. Commissioner?
No.
Okay, thank you for your call, sir. I appreciate it.
Time
we
out.
have a motion and a second.
Time out.
I just asked
Are
you
you-
if you had anything further, and you said no.
I'm changing.
Oh, you're changing. Okay, go ahead.
No, you got your will. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll, please.
Further discussion. You're in a
Roll's been
big
called.
hurry. So what is the motion, just so the public knows, please?
Again, the motion is to have Mr. Hanscom come before the Board of Commissioners next Wednesday at 11 a.m.
So if I may clarify, the order is commanding attendance, treasurer-elect.
I didn't write the order, county council
Oh.
did, and I would imagine that's a legal
You're in charge,
term.
man.
And like the military does, they command you to do things under legal terms that's been around for
This
centuries.
whole order is a command and demand, for goodness sakes.
So you can take it that way. There's
Just
nowhere
going by
else
your words.
in the order that makes, you can make that what
I
you
hope
want.
and pray
We have a a
Emily does okay
motion and a
too, then.
second. Roll, please.
Chair Pash,
Aye.
Vice Chair Boyce,
No.
Commissioner Gold,
Aye.
motion carried 2-1.
So ordered. This meeting is adjourned.
The Golden Pioneer was loaded on a flatbed truck and transported to the new state capitol.
There were a whole bunch of us, and my older cousin was much more adventuresome, and he was even, when they weren't looking and it was off the truck but on the ground, he was even climbing up into it. Times were more relaxed back then, and people weren't so worried about lawsuits, and kids could get into a lot more trouble.
In an era before helicopters and hydraulic cranes, workers spent 3 days using a makeshift wooden crane, pulleys, and muscle to hoist the Golden Pioneer 160 feet to his perch on the Capitol Dome. Workers then constructed a plastic cocoon around the statue so that the gold leaf covering could be applied. When gold leaf is added, this is called gilding, and was used to cover the bronze, which keeps it from tarnishing. This allows for easier cleaning in the future. The cocoon prevented the fine leaf from being damaged during its application. Every 20 to 25 years, the Golden Pioneer has been re-gilded to repair damage brought on by years of oxidation and weather. With the cost of re-gilding escalating over the years, funds have relied mostly on private donations and community fundraising. In 1984, Oregon school children raised more than $37,000 in coins, mostly dimes, which cover the cost of re-gilding the statue. Once again, workers erected scaffolding and a cocoon around the statue, this time with the help of modern equipment.
Oregon Pioneer statue. He actually completely broke free and rotated up on its pedestal. It had a complete shear crack all the way around. When the pedestal had fractured, we came back in and decided that we needed to reattach the brick together and the marble, so we epoxy injected the joints and put in some large diameter steel rods to basically put everything back into compression. During our seismic retrofit, we were able to remove the large diameter stainless steel bolts that we had installed after the Scotts Mills earthquake. Replaced those with a reinforced pneumatically placed concrete wall, tied the brick together with the marble, and then was able to reattach the Oregon